Welcome to Aberdeen, a sleepy mill town on the coast of Washington State. To date, it's best known as the childhood home of Kurt Cobain. Aberdeen is also the home to the annual Doo Wop Rally series, and given the weather conditions this time of year, we can certainly see why Cobain was so full of angst.
Everybody's getting the same stuff. Everybody's soaked. Everybody's cars are going to fog up. Everybody's running potholes with just creeping crud on it. So hope for the best for everybody. It would be nice if it wasn't like this, but what could you do? That's rally. You know, extreme is part of the sport.
If you're new to the sport of rally, here's a brief primer. Competitors drive their cars of various makes and models as fast as possible down forest roads and try not to hit anything.
I'm helping Nate Tennis run service for his Subaru Rally car. Because he needed somebody.
But the sport of performance rally isn't just about the driver, it's a team effort. Service crews like Don there have time between stages to keep the cars running, which is sometimes quite a challenge given the last legs some of these cars are running on. And for rally fans, spectating the event can be almost as much fun as running the event from behind the wheel, especially on days like today.
I'm standing out in this inclement weather watching rally because there's nothing else like it. You don't have to buy a ticket. You can just go and hang out and watch cars come by, set up chairs, set up a barbecue if you want, kick back. It's a good time.
And here's the top car from the weekend, Amity Trowbridge and driver Carl Yardval in their Evo. And Carrie White and Leanna Junilla in the Subaru USX. That's a custom WRX. Oh, and here's the PGT team of Mike Goodwin and Debbie Wenzara. They rolled their WRX just last year and are returning this year with a silver WRX. Nate Tennis was running strong all weekend in his Saab 99. Certainly one to watch as he takes the corners with about as much gusto as the guys in the open class. Definitely a crowd favorite. And here's the open class entry of father-daughter team Steve and Kelly Greer. It is a Subaru Impreza that has had a full motor swap, and they actually did pretty good over the weekend. They started with the same chassis, but unfortunately when they moved up to the 2.5 liter NA motor, it pushed them all the way into the highly competitive open class. And here's a cool entry. This is a Ford Cortina. It is styled after the original rally cars of the 60s. It is driven by Glenn Wallace and co-driven by R. Dale Crushauer. Unfortunately, they blew a piston, and this was their final stage for the weekend. Here's another historic entry, a Saab 96, driven by Garth Ackney and co-driven by Russ Crushauer. As we can see here, if the car still drives, you keep on running in rally. Either to the bitter end of the stage or the bitter end of your car, whichever should happen to come first. And here's Matt Milner in his PGT Subaru Legacy. His co-driver is John Taylor. As we can see from the back of the car, they had a little mishap earlier in the stage, almost rolling, but luckily they landed on all four wheels. And here at the end, we have a pair of Tabers coming across the finish line in 1-2 fashion. They're the rallying team that takes out a number of Sentras at pretty much every event. They also have a nice little Acura that they run around. And that brings us to the end, the conclusion of the onstage portion of the Doo Wop Rally. Unfortunately, not all cars made it off stage. Here's Steve Archuk's GTI. And it's time to clean up the rest of the parts off of the course as Sweep makes their rounds. So let's go talk to some of the competitors and get a little bit of feedback on this year's event. So Kelly, what do you think of the chicanes on this year's course?
They're wider than last year. You gotta go slow.
Yeah.
You gotta slow way down. But
I don't like them, but I know why they're there.
they're not fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're on the middle of a straight. You could probably be going 110 through there.
I guess, so what I heard, only one person so far has hit the chicane?
Yeah, that'd be Gabe right behind us. Yeah.
And let's see what Nate Tennis has to say about the weather.
A lot of interesting stuff going on.
The hail, is that causing any problems?
Not too much. It's mainly the big sticks and rocks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
No, it's been good. There's a lot of surface changes on this particular stage, so keeps you entertained. So not a lot of consistent surface. So.
We also noticed Peter Barnes had a little bit of problem with his Sentra.
That was our Vato mode, man. Yeah. Little lowrider rally action.
Here's their Sentra limping off course earlier in the day.
Just catastrophic rear suspension failure. We blew the Heim joints off of both struts, wrapped the springs around the axles, and just drove it home.
So you're driving with duct tape and baling wire right now?
Pretty much stock suspension. Keep it in the van for when you need it.
And that's a close for this coverage. We'll see you next at Oregon Trail in Portland.